Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry for the short hiatus there. Anyways, thanks. We're back. Here we go.
Here's some more.
What you're saying is that Parler was not. What you're saying is that Parler knew the kind of people that they were going to attract, right? It's like right now, Ryan. We're trying to get people over on MeWe to use that, and I posted something on Facebook, and one of my guys was like, "Yep, this looks like it's all for the Chinese and all for right-wing activists. I'm not joining." It's like, well, it's not that.
Yeah.
Right. And if what you're saying is like, okay, Parler put their servers on Amazon. Dude, Amazon, it's so much more than just the little thingy on your phone that you click to order diapers. Dude, it's like they own massive data centers across the country.
Yeah.
Like they're global, brother. And it's AWS, Amazon Web Services. That's a place where people buy servers. Yeah. Or server space, I should say.
I'm saying, can someone buy their, I asked this legit because I don't know. Could a Parler type thing buy their own servers and be completely independent? I understand that they still have to work to be on Apple app service and the Google Play Store and stuff, but the server itself, can they be independent, completely independent from anyone else like Amazon or anything like that?
Yeah, you could build a local server like in your basement. You know what I'm saying? But it's to get to scale.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to invest the R&D money, the dollars to set up a social media platform such as Parler or something. And I was never on it, so I don't know what it entailed.
Yeah.
But you're not going to set up all of that money if you're not going to be able to hit places like Google or Apple or Amazon or stuff like that, because that's where people live, man. You know, there's a minority of people that are breaking away from Google. They're going to like DuckDuckGo or something like that, or you know, they're building their own computers and stuff like that, dude. But that percentage of people is so small. It's almost inconsequential how small it is.
Well, we gotta build an alternative choice from the ground up when it comes to servers, when it comes to actual social media platforms, when it comes to app stores and stuff. We got to build an alternative from the ground up. We cannot rely on these other platforms which can rip the carpet right from underneath you. You can't be dependent on others, and that's why I like and it's a little bit different. But I've done that with my business and stuff with PTP. I've tried to be independent. I'm not dependent on any one person, any one business. I'm not in cahoots with anybody. I'm the sole owner. All that different shit. I can pick my shit up and go from one spot to another. If someone burns down a bridge and stuff, I can go somewhere else because I don't want to put my eggs in one basket like I did with my advertising with Facebook. I did put my eggs in one basket and they took it away from me, so I've learned to diversify. So we need to learn to either diversify or build a completely different alternative.
Or we hold those giant freaking conglomerations, we put some controls in place. All right. And this is a Right of Center podcast, but let me tell you something. This isn't a Right of Center view.
Yeah.
Okay. There as recently as 2020. Okay. So this was back in January 2020. So it's been about a year, but it was before Biden really got out there on the streets, right? Joe Biden said, and this is a quote, the idea, and speaking of Facebook, the idea that it's a tech company is that Section 230 should be revoked. Immediately should be revoked. Number one, for Zuckerberg and other platforms, it should be revoked. It should be revoked because it is not merely an internet company. That's what 230, unquote, that's what 230 protects, requote, right? It is propagating falsehoods they know to be true. This is your president, guys, Joe Biden, my president, our president of the United States, wants to put in place further restrictions on Facebook and Instagram and all these other freaking conglomerates. It's not just the right that's saying that. And that's what I'm trying to tell people, man. You got these, I mean, if the only news channel that was on TV was Fox News, everybody would be a Republican, right? Or their version of Republican, whatever that propaganda is. Yeah. And that's what it is. It becomes a propaganda machine. And we've seen that before, man. I mean, the Nazis used to fly over towns and guys, listen, don't come at me with that whole freaking there are no such things as Nazis anymore bullshit. All right? I know. Okay. That was 80 years ago. That shit's not going to happen anymore. It could. All right. But it's going to have to get kind of crazy. But what I'm getting at is this. They used to fly over and drop these little cards all over people, right? And that's like how they got their news. Or they would have one channel that played. Or if you look at countries like North Korea right now, it's very strict, the kind of shit that comes across the news.
Oh, yeah.
And the freedom of the press, right? The First Amendment, your right to be able to get your message out there is important, all right? And I get it. Facebook's a company. They don't fall under the same rules that me standing out on the street, right? And just screaming from the rooftops. It's a little bit different. I get it. And oftentimes I say this, guys, and I'm not trying to let you down here, man, but I don't have all the answers. Somebody smarter than me exists out there on this world that can freaking come up with a way to where, all right, look, Facebook, if you're going to censor X, Y, and Z, you need to tell us why so that we could play by the right rules. Not trying to push out the podcast, but I recently had a guy on my other podcast. His name is Jeremy Roadrug. And what he was talking about is how life is all about stories and games. You know, the games, if I want to play a game with you, Ryan, if I want to play a win-win game with you, I can't show up to play baseball to your football field. We're playing two completely different games, two completely different sets of rules, and neither one of us can win, right? It's a lose-lose situation. How can we play? How can people like me, you, and you guys listen to this shit? Because I guarantee you, if you start sharing around too much crazy stuff, you're going to get banned too. How can we figure this out? How can we understand the rules? How can we make sure that there are rules? Like, what can we do, man?
If they have such a monopoly on all this stuff, there's got to be something. I mean, because like I am honestly in support of, to a certain extent, hey, it's their business. You know, they can do what the fuck they want. But at the same time, too, they in cahoots with Google and Apple and Amazon, they've taken steps to make sure that there aren't other options. If you're taking steps to make sure there's not other options, you are the only option, then there's got to be some rules there. Because it's not as simple as, well, you know, go make your own. No, it's not that simple. They have they are, I don't want to sound fucking nuts, but they are in conspiracy with other similar platforms, whether they own them or not, because I know they own Instagram, but I don't know if they own Twitter and shit. But they're in cahoots to make sure they suppress this message, to suppress the free speech of Americans, that they don't have another option. And if they get another option, they fucking kill it. There's got to be some rules in place because they have such a monopoly on this shit.
And it's not just the free speech of the conservatives, dude. It's the free speech of Americans. And there's this Representative Paul Gosar, Republican from Arizona. He has kind of an extreme approach to this. And of course, you can consider it extreme if you want. Some people may say it's perfectly in line. But what he's pushing is this thing called Stop the Censorship Act, right? And what it does is he's trying to get it set up to prevent platforms from removing content that they found objectionable, right? Now, what that would mean is they could only remove posts that violated the law.
Yeah. Right?
Not something that they just determined, that hurt my feelings. It might hurt someone else's feelings. I'm just going to shadow ban this guy, or I'm just going to completely delete that.
Yeah.
Right? And that was introduced in 2019. They call it Hawley's Ending Support for Internet Censorship Act. What that would have done was it would have required platforms' content moderation teams to be certified as politically neutral by a bipartisan panel in order to retain their liability protections. Now, something that a lot of you may not have seen recently, or some of you have, and we mentioned in a previous episode, Facebook has this whole conglomerate of what they call fact checkers, right? And a lot of these fact checkers are from overseas. Now, during the election, they employed so many of these fact checkers, right, to stay on top of the propaganda that was being pushed, lies from both sides of the party, right? It was crazy. And what happened there? Okay. Let me tell you. Facebook created a bunch of jobs. And then after the election, those jobs weren't really needed anymore. So what are all those guys doing now? They're in there tagging shit like my post about, make sure, you're operating in the right mindset, that you have a rock solid mindset, that you're managing your expectations. They're flagging that as something ridiculous. As we mentioned in a previous episode, somebody very close to us posted something about some potential election fraud. He didn't claim it. He just said, this looks interesting. They flagged it as sexual. What the hell, right? So if these are the rules, if Facebook, we keep saying Facebook because that's the biggest player in the game.
Yeah.
Let's be real here, right? They own Instagram. Those are the two biggest freaking social platforms on the planet when you step away from Twitter. All right. When you're that big, you have to have some kind of checks and balances in place, right? I mean, you got to serve the American people somehow. Like, you got to keep us. We should have a say in what you say as a public offered trade as a publicly traded company, right? With public stakeholders and this kind of stuff. And the government should step in and say, look, motherfucker, if you're over here banning everything that the right wingers say, why aren't you doing the same thing to the left wingers? Both there's lies and hate coming from both sides. This has to be fair. And I'll tell you, again, I support everybody's right to get their message out there. Whenever there was BLM stuff that was being pushed, man, this summer was crazy, right? This social unrest that was happening in the country. I was following that stuff, man, because there was some really heinous shit that was going on in the black community that, frankly, I wasn't aware of because I wasn't seeing it every day. It's not coming across my news feed. And then when it started to come up, I was like, holy shit, I want to do something. I want to help. I want to let somebody know that I care, right? So that message was out there. There was no censorship of that. But whenever somebody starts saying, hey, the president that you think you voted for, those votes may be wrong. They may be disputable. Nope. Cancel that shit. Turn that shit off.
Yep.
Who's making that decision, man?
Somebody in Russia. Fact checking.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call his name out because he runs the fucking company.
Yeah.
It's his face.
Yep.
It's all fine and dandy to freaking organize around a whole bunch of protesters in Seattle and cordon off entire blocks, right? And try to start your own anarchist government. Perfectly okay to do that. It's perfectly okay to riot in Kenosha. It's perfectly okay to riot around this country. It's perfectly okay to riot in St. Louis a few years ago and get all of that mass media out there. It's in everybody's face 24/7. There's movements, there's hashtags, there's all this other shit. But as soon as somebody starts doing that shit, hashtag, what's the thing called? Still the vote or whatever?
Yeah.
Hashtag still the vote? Nope. Shut that shit down.
Yep.
Why? It's because there's a fucking agenda out there, dude. And now it's me, Wild Up, buddy. Let's talk about PTP guns some more, man. Let's get back over on your side of the block.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I keep on telling people, like, regardless of whether you are a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, in the middle, doesn't matter, right of center, left of center, get on other platforms like MeWe, like Parler. Parler, supposedly, I got to look at this more, but supposedly they just got back online. We need to get on these other platforms and take away the power from Facebook and all these other ones. And again, hopefully they've done things to make sure that they are protected so that they don't have to rely on these other Amazon and yada, yada, yada. But we have to take our message and go to these other platforms, regardless of what your message is. I'm not telling all Republicans or only Republicans to do this. I'm telling everybody to do this because everybody has to have a little bit of say in this matter. And again, whether you are a conservative or a Democrat, we have to stand together on this because if they can do it to Republicans or conservatives, they can do it to liberals too. Or if they don't, then, it's just so fucking frustrating. And
that gets me thinking about something else here. Let's tangent off the social media censoring a little bit. There was this company recently that was created. It was called the Liberty Project. Have you heard of them? Or, no, I'm sorry. It was called the Lincoln Project.
Yes.
Now, the Lincoln Project, these guys raised a whole bunch of money. And what they were going to do was to try to stop election fraud. And what they really ended up doing was funneling that money off into their own coffers. And they raised over $90 million. It looks like over $60 million of that went to two of their board members' companies. Right. And then they got called to Congress to testify against it. And you know what they did? Piddle paddle, didn't say shit, got off the hook. And when people start to realize, man, it's like, I don't have to physically engage with you to manipulate you. All I have to do is control the media that you see. If you don't know that there's a fire next door, you're not going to run over there to put it out, Ryan. Right? And so if nobody's telling you, man, hey, there's a fire next door, buddy. Sure, you might be able to sniff it. You might be able, and you'll catch on eventually, man, but by then it might be too late. And here's the thing, guys. Fucking MeWe sucks, all right? I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
You can get over there, you can play on it. I tried, Ryan.
It's definitely a learning curve.
More power to you, buddy. Yeah. I like Facebook.
I do too.
It's fun, dude. That's how I connect with people.
And that's why it's so frustrating.
I fucking love getting my memories. You know what I'm saying? Be like, holy shit, look. Here's a little story for you guys, right? My son and my daughter, for that matter, they're both in high school. they both made varsity football and cheer, and we're doing, because of COVID, we're doing fall sports in the spring. So, I'm going back in my memories, and I'm seeing, when my son was putting on, getting his first helmet, or when my daughter was doing cheer competitions, and I'm like, oh, look how cute they were and shit like that, right? Like, people don't look at photo books anymore. Everything's online, and it's just part of the world we live in. And I like Facebook. It's cool, right? It's how I'm talking to you guys right now. I'm on Facebook. I'm plugging shit. I'm sharing stuff. I like it. I don't want to have to go to MeWe. I want Facebook to be better. And that kind of sounds shitty, right? Like it's like, for instance, right? If there's a McDonald's, I like McDonald's. I want to eat at McDonald's. If McDonald's burgers started to taste like shit and somebody's like, well, go start your own restaurant. Motherfucker, I don't want to start a restaurant. I want McDonald's to be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, you don't like going to, I'm not going to put any names out here because I don't want to support anybody's company because I don't know how they align. Mm-hmm. There's a hardware store very close to us. Why should I, am I going to keep going to that hardware store if their product starts to suck? Probably. Let me tell you why. Because I don't want to drive another freaking 30 miles to go or 20 miles to go to the other hardware store, and eventually, okay, you suck bad enough for long enough. Yeah, I'll leave you. I'm done with you. I gave you enough chances, right? I'm out. I'm done with the frustration. But that's because there is another hardware store for me to go to. Yeah. If McDonald's sucks bad enough, I'll walk across the street to Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's another one. But there is no other Facebook.
Yeah.
There isn't. And let's just be real.
Yeah.
And people in our age demographic, that's what we have.
Yeah.
I've tried to go on Snapchat. Some of the guys I work with, I'm an engineer. A lot of the younger guys are that are coming up, they're on my team. Like, they connect through Snapchat. They talk through Snapchat, stuff like I've tried. It's not the same.
Yeah, I can't either.
It's not even designed to be the same. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Instagram. I see a cool story that I want to share a link to a post or something. You can't share links on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, there's only so many words you can use. It's different. You recently shared that thing about two things, right? You shared the thing about Texas, the jet and the cop. Hilarious, first of all.
Yeah.
You shared that. That's thousands of words. It would seem like I was reading a book, right? You can't post that kind of stuff on Twitter.
Nope.
It's too long.
Nope.
But you could post a tag, right? And you could send them to an article.
Yep.
Facebook is the king of that. You can post long stories and you can post articles.
Yep.
Facebook's awesome. Yep. I want to keep using it. But god dang it, they need to get their stuff together, man. This is this censoring, this censorship, the way that they are manipulating society. They're steering some people in a certain direction. Guys, if you're listening right now, look, I don't think I'm smarter than you. All right, I'm not going to say that. But you could probably admit that there are a lot of dumb ass people in this country that take everything blindly. They just consume that shit.
On both sides of the aisle.
Yes, you're damn right. And they're going to continue to be fed. Dude, you can go down the rabbit hole on Facebook and see exactly how they have you categorized. They can see, you assume that I'm this thing because I like that thing and all this other stuff, and they build this profile on you, right? Nobody here, raise your hand if you pay for Facebook besides advertising. You don't. And as they always say, if you're not paying for a product, you are the product.
You are the product, yeah.
Right? If you're not paying for product, you are the product.
Yeah.
Right? So what does that tell you? You are a digital number in an advertising company somewhere that they are putting things in front of you to persuade you to either buy something or take some kind of action.
They're making money off you.
They are making money off of you.
Shit, I paid them to fucking, access. When I would pay for advertising, I could choose the type of people I wanted my message in front of. I could choose them by their age. Mm-hmm. I could choose them by their gender. Their actual no shit gender, not the 35 different ones that are out there nowadays. Facebook's going to probably ban me now for at least 2 weeks. I just made that comment. But I could choose I can choose that. I can even choose different words, like keywords and stuff. Like if I was when I was selling women's only hanging classes on there, I would choose target words, no shit, like Target Corporation, the store. Bath and Body Works, different shit that women want to see and they see and stuff. I wanted my message to be in there too because I'm selling a women's only class. I wanted to pop up and then be like, oh wow, I've thought about doing this lately, and here's this option, or I haven't thought about this ever, but now that's in front of me.
Yeah, for instance, I've ran a couple ads for my other podcast, right? And I target people that you can select it. Target people that listens to podcasts. Target people that have liked Spotify or have liked Apple Podcasts. Target parents, because a big portion of that other show that I do is about parenting. I target parents, right? And stuff like that, because my other podcast, Ryan, it is completely free. I don't try to monetize people or anything like that, right? I just want to get the message out there to people. I am here for entertainment and education. That's what I am giving you. All I ask for you is to participate in the comments. That's it. And I will take money out of my own pocket to pay for advertising to get my message out there.
Yep.
Right? And you could be very targeted. Let's back it up a little bit, right? You listening right now are the customer for Amazon, or I'm sorry, for Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. You are a screen that they could put advertising on, right? And it sucks, but it's the reality. And because Facebook is so fun and engaging, and every, 20 minutes, if you haven't been on Facebook in enough time, they'll send you a little alert. Oh, so-and-so just posted XYZ, or so-and-so, or hey, here's a memory, or look, it's your friend anniversary with so-and-so. And dude, it's awesome. But I can't, it's like pulling at my ethics, man. It's stripping my integrity. It's like grabbing at me, and it's trying to pull me apart from the inside, because for one, I think that they're freaking way too big and they need some checks and balances put in place. So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use you anymore. But then the other half of me is like, you're stupid. Facebook's awesome. Continue to use it. How are you going to build your audience? How are you going to engage with people without it? Right. And I'm like so pulled apart from here and there is no alternative. I don't know if Parler was that alternative. Maybe it was. I never was on that site. I don't know if MeWe's that alternative. For me personally, I can't navigate it. Right. I tried to use it. And for me, honestly, it's just another freaking social media thing I got to try to learn. But I can't do it, man. What do you think, Ryan? Like, how do we do that gut check where we know that we shouldn't be doing something, but we do it anyways? How do we support Facebook even though we know we shouldn't be?
I don't think we should. I mean, I honestly, and this is where it's going to be hard. I think that we all need to set a date very soon, like fucking tomorrow, where everybody takes their phone out and they delete the app, any apps you have related to Facebook. Delete that shit. That's one way to keep it out of your sight, out of mind, and get on these other platforms. Use them. Make a point of set an alarm and hey, I need to post on Media this morning or Parler, whatever, and force that out of there. That, and honestly, beat the. I don't want to say this, but I want to say it anyway, because I don't want to, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound like they are the problem as a collective, but we need to beat the left at their own damn game. We need to fucking pull this cancel culture. They want to pull that shit on everyone that's on the right. Well, let's fucking pull it on them. Let's freaking inundate all of the big people who pay money on Facebook to advertise. Coca-Cola, gosh damn Walmart, all these different companies, and tell them you need to cancel your advertising with them. You need to quit putting money in their damn pocket, just like we have, so we can get the Facebook that we want, the Facebook that we need, the Facebook that doesn't censor free speech and thoughts of people of any background. While it might be somewhat laughable to a certain extent, I would not support a platform of any type censoring or blocking the left. My own company, I don't give a shit if you are a Democrat or Republican. I don't give a shit what religion you are part of or not a part of at all. You're all welcome at my classes to partake in my services. Everyone is welcome. Why can't Facebook be the same way? I don't care what you say to me. Facebook is not a welcome place for conservatives. It's not a welcome place for people that don't toe the line completely. It doesn't matter if you are in the middle or if you have, sometimes, bleeding heart views. Like we're talking with Mikey about the $15 minimum wage. They probably would actually favor his views on that. But because he doesn't toe the line completely, they're like, no, fuck you, Mikey. You're censored this week. Oh, no, Mikey, you wanted to post that post? No, fuck you. You're not doing that today because you didn't toe the line completely. You can't be a free thinking person and exist on Facebook freely.
Now, here's the thing. So that sounds a lot like the pot calling the kettle black. You're saying, oh, okay, let's fight them at their own game, right? That's not the answer. That is more war, dude. That is going to war. That is saying, oh, you've been doing this to me?
We've been trying to take the high road for years. And where are we at?
Dude, you don't get in the mud and wrestle with pigs because they have fun and you get dirty. All right. And the way to do it, guys, it doesn't matter. Ryan, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. That is a position that somebody could take.
Yeah.
If that is the position you're willing to take it. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Right. If not supporting companies that have canceled the right or not supporting companies that you think favor somebody opposite of you, that's your position. Take it, man. From me, I'm all about that unity, man. And it's not, I'm not far right and I'm not far left.
Yeah.
Guess what I am, Ryan?
Still fucked though.
I'm right of center, brother. Yeah. All right. There's guys left of center that are right there with us. Yeah. All right. And what we need to do, what the majority of people need to do, what we need to do, and they used to say this all the time, I'm not sure how effective it would be anymore, write your senator, man. Write your congressman. All right. Tell him that we want to kill this monopoly that is Facebook. And if we can't kill them, right, because the only way to eliminate a monopoly is to have more organic capability, right, to have 5 or 6 more monopolies or 5 or 6 more Facebook, that you could choose which one you wanted to be on. Well, they tried that with Parler and that got shut down, right? So what can we do? We ask our senators, we ask, we ask Gozar from Arizona, like, or we tell him like, hey man, this is what we want. We want rules put in place, clear, delineated, very well-defined rules put in place for these social media conglomerates to make sure that one party isn't favored over the other. And when I say party, I'm not talking about political party because I could give a shit what side you line up on. All right? The whole bunch of them are crooks, thieves and liars, in my opinion. Yeah. And what we need to do really, when I mean party, is like, all right, well, what if they would have canceled all the black guys off social media? Or what if they would have canceled all the LGBTQs off social media, or the white guys off social media, or whoever? What if they canceled parents over 40 off social media? You can't just pick a certain group of people and cancel them. That is some nonsense, man. And the only way that is going to be put in place, I think, is if the government, for all fucked up as they are, were to do something good and call to task people like Mark Zuckerberg and the CEO of Alphabet and get them out there and say, look, guys, we're changing things. If you can't come up with your own rules, we're going to come up with rules for you. And I would never say that to you, Ryan. I would never come up to you because you're a small guy. You're a small company in a relatively small state doing a very niche service. I'm not going to come up to you and put rules on you, right? If you like, honestly, dude, if you sucked at your job, I wouldn't go to you. I would find somebody else. Yeah. But there is no other Facebook. There's not. So what do we got to do? We have to ask the people that are in charge, that we elected to be in charge. We have to ask them, hey, get involved. Fix this stuff. There's no reason for what the shit that we're going through right now.
Yeah, kind of take a step back. You talked about, and I might be fucking this up a little bit, but the federal bill back in 1996 that relieved online websites and stuff from liability. Mm-hmm. What I think needs to happen to a certain extent is that needs to be, like Biden said, taken the fuck away. If they want to act like they are liable and then they need to censor people because of their liability, then take away their exemption from liability. Make them fucking liable so that, there might be some type of recourse there too. That should be the thing. Either, hey, we're going to take this back. We're going to take this away from you. This protection away from you. You're going to be liable. Or you can just shut the fuck up and let people keep on acting freely on fucking Facebook, and we'll maintain that liability protection for you. You can't have it both ways. You can't have protection for liability, but then say, oh, well, we're liable for this stuff, so we need to censor you. No, you cannot have your fucking cake and eat it too. Either fucking eat the fucking cake or move on.
Mm-hmm. So how do we ensure they don't take it too far and censor everything based solely on opinion? And I think that's the question we're trying to answer here, man. Like you said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. They had said something, I read somewhere that, what Zuckerberg was saying was like, we can't moderate everybody all the time. And that's true. When you have a company that big, you can't be everywhere all the time, right? So then you start looking for keywords. And what are some of those trigger words? Firearms, right? So that's why you were signaled out, right? And I don't know why the hell I was signaled out, but I was. And it's crazy. And so like a proposition was, okay, only censor content within the first 20, you have 24 hours to catch and take action against somebody that posted something within 24 hours. Well, then what Zuckerberg came back with it was a good argument. It's like, okay, well, what if we don't catch it in the first 24 hours? Then our algorithms aren't looking for anything older than 24 hours, and it could make it, and then it's there. And here's the thing, Ryan, if I'm scrolling through my news feed and I see some hate speech, guess what I'm going to do?
Keep on scrolling.
I'm going to keep on fucking scrolling, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Or I'm going to take action and I'm going to hit those 3 little buttons up on the top right and I'm going to say unfollow, or I'm going to say don't show me this anymore.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not going to report it or flag it, because now I take that back. If it's some heinous shit, right?
Yeah,
I might like raise my hand.
Bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, something, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, come on,
Yeah.
caught you, motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see that. Facebook's clearly doing a decent enough job of keeping that shit off my news feed, right? But keep scrolling, man. Keep scrolling.
Yeah.
And you got this woke culture, brother, that is like, here's the thing. Here's this left side of me that comes out once in a while, right? Cancel culture, much like the Tea Party, when it first was created, was well-intentioned. And the reason cancel culture came to light was because the people that were practicing cancel culture were trying to hold people accountable for their bullshit, right? Like sexual harassment, right? Like if you look at some of these movie producers or stuff like that, they were fucking molesting people or raping people for jobs.
Yeah.
Coming out about that and canceling that person, right? That's kind of where cancel culture started. And as we do as society, we take shit and we fuck it up. People took cancel culture and they fucked it up. They took it to an extreme, or they took it, they start using that term where it isn't really relevant. And now everybody's getting canceled, man. And it's crazy. And guys, listen, 2 things. First, this has been a pretty passionate episode. All right. And Ryan and I have kind of bounced around a bit here, and we may have used kind of an abnormal amount of swear words.
Yeah.
All right. I apologize for that. That's you don't have to expect that from us. All right. We should do better. But I'm not going to hold back. If I'm passionate about something, man, swear words are my adjectives, Bubba. If it's fucking crazy, right? I'm going to say it that way because that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And, so that's one thing, guys. Number 2 here. If you have a solution, if you have an idea of like what we can do to fix this situation, and maybe me and Ryan, and we said in episode 1, if we're like way off target on this, correct us. Tell us, guys, you got it all wrong. Fix it, fix yourself.
Have some statistical fortitude to speak up.
That's right. Come out and tell us, man, because we don't have all the answers. We are you. We are a couple of guys, middle-aged white guys raising kids right of center. And we think that we represent a pretty big population of people. And if I have this concern and Mr. Gass across the aisle has this concern, a lot of you have this concern. What can we do about it? Talk, all right? Come on the Facebook page while it's still here. Ryan's really scared that thing's going to be pulled out from underneath us. So we'll see. But while we have it, get on there and engage. Not only that, share it with a friend, man, because maybe you don't have the answer. Maybe I don't have the answer, but maybe your buddy does.
I just thought about something so Facebook, honestly, for me, because you said I was kind of scared about Facebook being deleted in mine. Honestly, I've kind of, over the years and months, and honestly in the recent weeks, it's been getting progressively worse. I'm training myself and preparing myself for myself to be completely deleted off of Facebook, because Facebook lately for me, it's been like my Pontiac. What did I tell you about my Pontiac earlier?
It broke down yesterday. You rode that bitch so the wheels fell off.
So yesterday, my wife's old Pontiac, it's our go-getter. It's a 07. It was from back when she was in high school and stuff. We've had it all these years. We've had over 300,000 miles on it. And it was on its last leg the last couple of days, I knew I actually tried to, I tried a little bit last minute things to make sure I could get a couple more 1,000 miles hopefully out of it and stuff, because it's a nice little go-getter. But yesterday I blew the transmission on it, totally fucking done, and I had to tow it back to my house. And this morning we donated to Cars for Kids. It's those annoying ass commercials on the radio, but when it broke down and I had to steer it to the side of the road, honestly, I wasn't even mad. I knew it was coming. I prepared myself for it. I got my use out of it as much as I could. We invested a lot of time and effort and money. What was it? It's now February. Back in probably October, I put new brakes on it and new tires and stuff. I invested time and effort to keep it going, but I knew that all great things come to an end. And that's kind of how I feel about Facebook. I'm kind of getting to the end where I'm like, hey, they're going to delete me someday. I need to start diversifying, having my eggs in different baskets. Facebook was great while it lasted, but hey, this fucking train's going to fucking end, and it's ending for me personally soon, I'm sure. It's going to end too for everybody at some point. It's going to happen. No one can foresee that when that's going to happen. You can never imagine a time period where that's going to be. But, back in the early 90s, if you told somebody that Kmart was going to go out of business, you probably say, you're fucking crazy. Or these other, businesses, Blockbuster. Blockbuster was a place to go on Friday nights and stuff to get a movie to watch that evening or Saturday, whatever. Nobody saw their demise coming. I foresee Facebook's demise is coming. When? I don't know. It might be years, it might be decades, honestly, but it's going to be coming. My demise on Facebook is coming very, very soon. I'm like that. We had a relative in my wife's side of the family that recently died of cancer, and by the time it happened quick, but by the time the person went, at least myself, I know for other people it might be harder, but I come to terms and stuff. It sucks that the person's gone. It's going to suck when I am finally off of Facebook, but we're going to have to move on. So I think that our temporary avenue approach is, one, find us on MeWe, find us on Parler, and here soon we'll have our website up and rolling, and you'll be able to subscribe to our newsletter. We're just going to put out newsletters weekly about the different podcast episodes, about different events we're doing, things of that nature.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not personally, I have a MeWe page. You can look for me there. I'm not active on it. Here's the thing, guys. Facebook, as Ryan mentioned, eventually, sometime in near future, far future, at some point, it's going to be gone. Recently, I was having a conversation with my old man, and we kind of came to terms with the fact that it's an oldie, but it's a goodie, right? The only permanent in life is change. And we will change. And as Ryan mentioned, guys, eventually we're going to have this website, put in place, and you guys will be able to find us there. But until then, get the word out, because, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and this, Facebook page may not be here tomorrow. So get on over there, like it, share it with a friend, get as much movement, get as much mobility and traction on this thing as we can, just in case. So, get after it, guys. And, I don't have all the answers. Like I said, ask a buddy, get down there in the comments, find us on YouTube, guys. You can really leave some good comments there, and let us know what you think about this, what you think about Facebook censoring. Let us know, man. And with that, guys, we're out.
Deuces.